Okay, back at you with another video here for the NBA main slate. Here on Christmas, Merry Christmas to everyone. So we got a big day of tournaments today for sure. 5 games on the docket. So let's dive right into it. And we will start at point guard today. And we got James Harden at 10-9, who, in my opinion, man, if you're playing, so there's a lot of big tournaments today, but if you're playing cash games, I don't think you can fade James Harden without Chris Paul, priced under 11K. I know Oklahoma City has been a pretty good defensive team, but Harden's just matchup proof. Not worried at all. And he's their whole offense right now. He shot the ball 34 times last game with no Chris Paul. 34 times. He only made 12 shots. Imagine if he made a few more of those shots. He still put up 66 fantasy points. So if you're playing cash games on Christmas, then I think you have to play James Harden. But if you're playing multiple lines in tournaments, I definitely think there is a merit to fading James Harden because, in my opinion, just looking over at the slate today, it seems like everyone is like underpriced. I don't know if it's just me, but it just seems like all the players are just slightly underpriced today. So yeah, for if you're doing cash games, I think Harden. I think you gotta lock him in there at 10.9. Just this is too cheap. You got Westbrook here at 10-3. Finally had a decent game here against Minnesota, 10 of 19. But before that, he really has not been shooting the ball well, and honestly has been kind of taking a back seat to Paul George, who has just been playing phenomenal basketball. So priced, in the same price range as Harden. I think Harden going to be the chalk and cash game. So I think Westbrook might go a little under owned here, 10.3K. And like I keep saying it, anytime you can get Westbrook low owned, it's great. So I think Westbrook could be kind of low owned and a sneaky play here on Christmas. So then we got Steph Curry at 9K, who again, it just seems like these guys are all slightly underpriced, especially in this type of matchup here. So let's look at the over-unders real quick. And the Lakers Golden State 235 over-under. So that's the highest of the day. 228 for the Bucks and the Knicks, 224 for 76ers and the Celtics, 221 for the Rockets and Thunder, and then the lowest to close it out at 214 for the Jazz Blazers. So it just seems with the over-under of 235, 9K it just seems way too cheap for Steph Curry. So I really like him, and if you want, I think you can play both Harden and Curry if you want. But I think you could fade Harden for Curry just because, man, it's 9K for Steph Curry. It's just too cheap. But again, cash games, I think James Harden would be a lock for me for cash. But tournaments, again, there's a lot of good plays today for GPPs. Ben Simmons. So I think this Philadelphia-Boston game could go kind of under the radar here. And I think it's sneaky shootout potential. Philadelphia, not the same defensive team they were last year. They're really just giving up a lot of points. And Boston, they're a decent defensive team, but Philly likes, running up and down the court. So I think Boston will kind of match that. So I think this game could go kind of under-owned. Ben Simmons, 8.4. It just seems a little too cheap right now. I know Jimmy Butler's back, healthy. Same with Embiid. So they got all their main guys healthy. But man, this guy fills up the stat sheet I don't know. 8.4K seems pretty cheap for Ben Simmons, who I think he could go pretty under-owned as well. Then we got Kyrie at 8K. I'm not going to talk you off Kyrie again. The price is just he was 9K last game against Charlotte. Now it's 8.1. So I'm not going to talk you off of Kyrie. I just think Boston is the deepest team in the league, and they basically have everyone healthy now. So I think there's probably better options. But Kyrie could have a huge game here. Philadelphia does not play a whole lot of defense. So if you like Kyrie, I'm going to say go for it. But for me, with Boston, everyone healthy, I'm probably going to look elsewhere. LILLARD, yeah, he's priced under 8K, but the match against Utah, they're not the same. They're not like the best defensive team, but they're still a pretty good defensive team. So I think LILLARD, I think he's okay. I think he'll be pretty low owned. I'll probably be looking elsewhere. Donovan Mitchell, just this year, I don't know. The last couple games he has picked up in the assists and the rebound department, but other than that, he really has just been kind of scoring dependent. So I think I'm going to look elsewhere than Donovan Mitchell, but 7K, man, that seems pretty cheap for him. So I think there is merit if you want to put Donovan Mitchell to play him. Let's see, Moutier. it's tough because Trey Burke's back, and then as well as Alonzo Trier is, I think he's questionable, but looking practice with the team, so it looks like he'll be healthy as well. And we know all these Knicks guards are healthy. It's hard to trust the rotation, but Moody, yeah, he's been playing great basketball here. So I think 6.9K. I think he's priced about right. He does still have some upside, so I think he's okay. Bledsoe, 6.8. Sure. I think it's fine. I would just probably rather pay up for Giannis than Bledsoe, but I think Bledsoe's okay here. Again, the Knicks, not a good defensive team. CJ, 5.9. Yeah, the price is appealing. The matchup, not so much. I think CJ's okay. And then you got Lonzo, who did get priced down here. I think Lonzo or Rondo, one of those two, is going to have a pretty good big game here against Golden State. It's just hard to play those guys because it's just you can't trust the minutes with Luke Walton. So I think one of these two guys could have a pretty big game, but it's kind of like a coin flip who it's going to be. And you got Rubio, who just seems way too underpriced here at 5.4. Lillard, McCollum, not the best defenders here. Rubio, a guy that doesn't have to score to fill up the stat sheet. I know I really like targeting Rubio when Donovan Mitchell's out, but it's just the price at 5.4K for a starting point guard. This game should stay close. He just seems too cheap, so I do really like Rubio today at 5.4. Let's see, the cheap Boston guys, like they do seem a little underpriced here. Smart, Rozier, but I'll probably look elsewhere. Okay, let's move on to shooting guard today. And let's see, Jimmy Butler. Again, I have a feeling that this Philly Boston game is going to go under the radar, and it's a sneaky game stack. So I think a lot of these guys are underpriced. So I think Jimmy Butler definitely doable here at 7K. For me though, I'd probably rather pay up the extra $1,400 for Ben Simmons. But I think Jimmy Butler's still fine here at 7K. So KLAY Thompson, with what seems to be like everyone underpriced in the slate, KLAY Thompson seems priced about right, maybe a little overpriced. So I'm probably not going to go there. But again, he could get hot, and for GBPs, I think it's definitely viable to throw KLAY Thompson in one lineup for sure. Chris Middleton, kind of the same thing with Bledsoe. I think he's pretty okay here. The Knicks don't play a whole lot of defense, but I think I would rather just pay up for Giannis. But if you want to take the discount Middleton or Bledsoe, I don't mind it. I think they're priced pretty fairly here. Eric Gordon, so I do like that his price dropped a little bit. So he's basically the number 2 in this offense. Thing I don't like on him is he is scoring dependent, but Harden is going to he's going to have to sit for a bit. He is going to take a few plays off here. I kind of defer to Eric Gordon. So I think Eric Gordon, pretty decent play here at 5.8. The only thing, again, I don't like is he is kind of scoring dependent. Let's see, Ingram, 5.3. I think that's a little underpriced for him, considering he's played 33 and 37 minutes in his games back from his injury. So I think Brandon Ingram seems just a little too cheap for such a high over-under here too against Golden State. Yeah, it just seems like Brandon Ingram's a little underpriced there. Let's see, like the Boston guys, Boston is too deep a team for me. Like I like the Philly side more. I guess if you want to do game stack it, you could throw a couple Boston guys in, but I like the Philly side more, and it's just Boston's such a deep team. Then you got Gerald Green, who is going to definitely play some more minutes here with Chris Paul out. He played 31 last time against the Spurs, so I think it's worth a shot. 3.9K is pretty cheap for salary relief. If you want to go kind of a stars and scrubs approach, I think Gerald Green is not the worst play here for salary relief. Josh Hart, 3.5. Seems a little underpriced, but he has a really low floor. So his shot's not falling. He will, he can put up below 10 fantasy points. But again, this over-under is really high, and he should play, 20, 25 minutes. So I think he could be worth a shot too. Let's look at Iguodala all the way down here at 3.3K. That's absurd for Andre Iguodala. I know, he's not playing like 30 plus minutes, but he should play an up-tempo game, 25 or so minutes. Man, close to minimum price for Iguodala. I'm just noticing this now. Man, that just seems way too cheap for Iguodala. All right, let's move on to small forward. And we got Giannis here, who is in a dream matchup here against the Knicks, and he's probably going to come out and wanting to put up some numbers because Mario Hezonja, I don't know if you guys saw a couple weeks ago, he did the kind of like a step over on Giannis. And Giannis is really pissed. I think his quote was, "I'm gonna punch him in the balls" or something like that. So I think Giannis here, in cash games, I think Harden's gonna be way more popular. But for tournaments, I think Giannis is a fair pivot off of Harden. The Knicks, they just have no one that can stay with them. So I think Giannis could have a pretty good game here at 10.7K. So definitely considering him. And then you got LeBron. First time going to Golden State as a Laker. And yeah, 10K for LeBron. That just seems too cheap. There is some blowout chance. The Golden State could blow them out. But Lakers have been playing some pretty decent basketball here. So I think they could keep it close. And yeah, 10.1K. Again, it's kind of like, I know I've been saying it a lot in this video, but it just seems like everyone on this slate is a little underpriced. I think LeBron, definitely doable at 10-1. And Paul George, I'm not going to talk you off him. He's just been playing unbelievable basketball. If you want to play him, go for it. I mean, this guy he's been amazing. For me, I'm probably going to fade. Now he's priced up to 9.7K, but this guy's been playing unbelievable basketball, so I will not talk you off Paul George if you want to play him. Durant says his list is questionable, but he is probable. I do fully expect him to play. Man, 9.3K again. Seems too cheap. So a lot of these guys, I think there are some decent pivots here with the stars off of James Harden for sure. Okay, let's see. Hardaway, 6.6K. Maybe, yeah. I mean, he does have some upside, but I don't think on a slate where a lot of the stars are like underpriced that I want to pay 6.6K for Tim Hardaway Jr. Kuzma, 6.4. I think he's priced about right. Again, this game is probably the most appealing from fantasy perspective, and he is going to play a lot of minutes. So I think Kuzma is okay here at 6.4. Kevin Knox, so I do kind of like this play here at 5.6K. The Knicks are just giving him all the minutes he can handle right now. So, he just seems a little underpriced. Milwaukee does play pretty fast up and down the court. So I think Kevin Knox, pretty doable here, 5.6K. Let's see. PJ Tucker, 4.3. He had an outlier game with 16 rebounds. Wouldn't expect that again. I think he's okay with Chris Paul out of there. 4.3K for salary relief. Again, I don't mind that. Aminu, I know the matchup's not appealing, but 3.9K for Aminu just seems way too cheap. I know he has a couple dud games in here, but one of those was a blowout, and the other one, the starters kind of got limited big time. But in a close game, he should play 30 to 35 minutes. So 3.9K just seems too cheap for Aminu. Let's see, House you could take a shot at. He got the start with Chris Paul out of there. Didn't do much though with the start. Only put up 9 fantasy points. I think it's maybe you could take a shot at GPPs. Okay, let's move on to power forward. So we talked about all these guys up top, and man, Draymond Green. This is basically my lock of the day. 6.3K for Draymond. He doesn't like playing against LeBron. In the highest over-under of the night, Draymond Green, again, I've talked about him the last few times here. I've locked him in here against Dallas and against the Clippers. I'm doing the same thing against the Lakers. I'm locking in Draymond. 6.3K is just way too cheap for him. Tatum, Morris, again, I won't talk you off these Boston guys, but they're just such a deep team. I do think it is viable if you do want to do the game stack that you could run a couple of those guys back with, like Ben Simmons and Embiid. But for me, I'm probably staying away from most of the Boston guys. And then you got Noah Vonleh here, who this play is really stuck out the page to me because Milwaukee likes running small ball. So this is perfect for Noah Vonleh and not the best for Enes Kanter. So I think Vonleh, if he can stay out of foul trouble, should play 35 plus minutes. And we've seen this guy, he's a double-double machine when he gets those minutes. So I think 5.2K is too cheap for Noah Vonleh. So I do really like him today. Let's see. As far as these really cheap guys, like I said, Aminu just seems too cheap to me. So DJ Wilson has been getting the backup minutes here with Ilyasova out. He's been playing pretty decent too. 26, 24, 13, 26 minutes. It is hard to trust Mike Budenholzer's minutes, but this guy, he's pretty productive when he's out there. He'll pick up a couple he'll block or steal. He gets a lot of rebounds. So I think DJ Wilson is worth a look here at 3.7K. Let's see. KEVON Looney, 3.5. Yeah, I think it's doable against the Lakers. It should play probably 15 to 20 minutes, so I think that's doable as well. And okay, let's move on to the center position. So we got Embiid at 9.5K. Aaron Baines is out of there. Horford is not going to be able to stick with Embiid, so I think Embiid could go kind of under-owned here. But, man, I don't think anyone in Boston's going to be able to stay with him, so I think Embiid, pretty decent play here at 9.5. Capella, 7.4. Again, I think he's priced about right. I do respect the defense of Steven Adams, but should play 35 minutes or so. So I think Capella's pretty fair. Gobert 7.2 seems a little underpriced right now, so I think Gobert definitely doable. Steven Adams, man, it's like all these centers just seemed a little underpriced. 6.7K for Adams. This just seems too cheap. So I think Steven Adams is definitely doable. And then you got KANTER, who last Christmas went off. I don't know if you guys remember that, but if you didn't have Enes KANTER, you did not win a tournament last year. So KANTER, I love targeting centers against Milwaukee, but I'm just concerned with the minutes with him. Like, if you could just guarantee me he would play 30 plus minutes, then I would just lock in Enes KANTER. But I'm just concerned. And Milwaukee likes running small ball. I think it's gonna be more of a Noah Vonleh game. So probably not for me for Enes KANTER, just because I'm just too concerned that he's gonna get limited to 25 minutes or so. And then you got Nurkic, who, man, it's just way too cheap. Some people might be a little afraid of the matchup against Utah. Me, I'm not afraid at all. He played Utah a couple days ago in 27 minutes, put up 35 fantasy points. 6K is just criminally underpriced for Nurkic. So I'm all about Yusuf Nurkic today at 6K. It just seems way too cheap. Again, I'm not afraid of the matchup against Gobert. Let's see. And then we got Zubac here, who put up back-to-back really good games. So my concern is Golden State likes running small ball with DRAYMOND at the 5. So maybe Zubac gets limited to 20 or so minutes. We got McGee, who is listed as doubtful, so I don't expect him to play. And you got TYSON Chandler listed as questionable. If he plays, maybe that takes a few minutes away from Zubac. So I feel like Zubac's going to be really popular. And I do like him, but I'm just concerned that he gets run off the floor here and the Lakers go more, Kuzma small ball at the 5. So I'm a little concerned about Zubac, but again, 4.4K, he doesn't have to do too much. So I think he could still get you there in 20 to 25 minutes. So I think he's still a pretty decent play here at 4.4K. Again, the one concern is I'm concerned it would run off the floor. Okay, so let me go over my core plays for more of a cash game safe build today. So we'll start with Harden. Again, if you're playing cash games, I really think you got to play James Harden today. It just seems too cheap. With no Chris Paul, he's going to shoot the ball so much. So for cash games, I think Harden, I think you got to lock him in there. And then, again, this is more for my cash game type build. Rubio, 5.4K for Rubio, starting point guard. It's just way too cheap for him. So I do really like Rubio. And then let's go to Draymond Green. He's basically my lock of the day, 6.3K. In the up-tempo game against the Lakers, it's way, way too cheap. And then I'll go with Nurkic here. Again, I think Nurkic is going to be pretty low-owned. I think people are going to be scared of the match against Utah. Me, I'm not afraid of all. 6K for Nurkic, criminally underpriced. So I do really like him. And then finally, I'm going to go with Noah Vonleh here, 5.2K. Again, the Bucks, they're going to run small ball, so this is more of a Noah Vonleh game in my opinion than Enes KANTER. I still think KANTER could get you there in 25 minutes. I'm just too concerned that they limit his minutes. So I think Noah Vonleh, pretty decent play here at 5.2K. So I think that's kind of my core for kind of a cash game build. I think that's pretty safe. Then you have 5.3K remaining for the last three. But for GPPs, again, there's so many guys that just, the studs are just too cheap. Westbrook, Steph Curry, Ben Simmons. You got Giannis, LeBron, too cheap. Durant, all these guys just seem a little underpriced. So I think there is merit because it's such a big day for tournaments to make multiple lineups and kind of take shots at a few of these studs here and there. So I think that's going to do it for today's video, guys. If you have enjoyed the content, please like this video, subscribe. It really helps me out. If you have any questions, you can leave it in the comment section down below. It's also important to follow me on Twitter. I will put that in the description below. I'll give my thoughts as more news comes out throughout the day. And yeah, Merry Christmas to all you guys. I hope you guys have a great Christmas. And I think there's a slate tomorrow, the 26th. So I will be back with another video then. So I will see you guys then.